Welcome back to Ride and Glide Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the most powerful model in the Wolf Warrior range. This is the Kaabo Wolf Warrior King.
Here we go. Whoa. So fast. Flat out. Look at that bike. Insane amount of torque. Very comfortable. Woohoo! Whoa. Back in.
So first of all, taking a look at the styling of the scooter. The thing that stands out the most, I'm sure you'll agree, is the colour. This bright gold colour, which is now known for the Wolf King. It also comes in black, but gold is the colour that most people seem to be interested in, and it makes it look different to the Wolf Warrior 2, which is sort of its little brother. Starting down at the front of the scooter, we've got the 11 by 4 inch tyres. These house the 1500 watt motors in the front and the back. These tyres are off-road, you can put hard ground tyres on them as well, but generally these scooters are used for that sort of trail riding off-road feel. It's what they're famous for. Like all the Wolves, we've got the Zoom hydraulic disc brakes. You can see we've got the calipers at the front and the 160mm discs for increased braking power. Then we come out and you can see we've got the twin forks here, classic Warrior design or Wolf design, these twin forks. The people that like riding these scooters, they like that stability. The forks coupled with the wide deck and the big tyres make them feel really, really stable. From the forks, you can see we've got the two suspension arms here incorporated in the forks. These are sprung suspension, makes it comfortable on rough terrain together with everything else that we're speaking about. And above these, or just to the side of these, we've got the fender. Huge mudguard there, stopping any debris coming up and getting onto the rider as you're traveling along, especially off-roading. And this big gap of clearance here between the wheel and the bottom of the fender. So that allows the forks to compress and rebound, so it means you're never going to bottom out even when going over really rough terrain. From the fender, we come back down to the front arm here and the folding mechanism. So it's got the patented big handle here that you lift up, release the black clip inside, take out the safety pin and fold it down. With the Wolf King, much like the Wolf Warrior 2, the front wheel kicks out, so it takes it from 1.25 meters long to about 1.5 meters long. It actually increases the size of the scooter when it's folded. Most people that ride these don't tend to fold them. They're big lumps, 47, 48 kilos, so people aren't often carrying them around. Back down from the arms, we come down to the lights. Again, the same as the Wolf Warrior. We've got the headlights here, the blue LEDs running along the gold round bars from the frame, these tubular frames, up and round to the handle at the back. So the frame's connected all the way round here. It's that classic design, the same as the Warrior and the same as the smaller version, the X as well, where you've got the handle at the back to allow you to pick up a heavy piece of machinery. Coming back down to the front, we've got the big wide footrest. Very, very comfortable. It's got an anti-slip rubber mat on it, Kaabo logo on the middle in red just to make it stand out for the styling. We've got the footrest here at the back to add to the size of the deck. A lot of people like to ride with one foot up at the back, one at the front. It's a nice, comfortable riding position. It also stops you from banging your foot into the fender or even onto the rear wheel. Keeps it nice and safe. Under the deck, as we've said already, we've got the 72-volt battery. This is a 28 amp hour with 18650 cells, Samsung battery, so a very high quality battery, offering ranges of apparently up to 100 miles. Now, those tests carried out by Kaabo, they will probably be with a 70 kg rider, 10 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour, flat roads in warm conditions, but we are going to do a range test and find out how far this scooter can go. Coming towards the back of the scooter, again housed with the battery are the two 40 amp 72 volt controllers. So those coupled with the battery and the 1500 watt motors at each end, I do believe we're going to get some serious power and speed out of this machine. The clearance, as you can see, between the floor and the bottom of the deck is huge, like the Wolf Warrior, and that lends itself towards that, again, off-road terrain, so you're not going to be catching yourself on rocks and bumps and things like that. We've spoken about the big handle grip already, and the footrest here, which is nice metal, coming in to the rear fender. Now, the rear fender has a light on it, as you can see there, but also that's used so when you brake, the light intensifies, so anyone behind can see that you've applied your brakes. Underneath that fender, you can see we've got the swing arms, big chunky swing arms right down to the wheel and the motor, 11 by 4 inch tyres as we've said. These have got off-roads, but as we've said again, you can change them for hard ground tyres as well, more like slicks. 1500 watt motors, the Zoom hydraulic brake calipers, We've spoken about the brakes already with these 160mm discs there. So coming back up from the discs, you can see we've got the 2 rear springs here. All of the Warrior models have this style of suspension. They've got the twin forks at the front and the 2 dampened springs at the back. As you're bouncing around, these compress, hit the hard dampener, and that just takes some of the impact out and allows you to keep going smoothly along bumpy terrain. Bringing now all the way back along to the front, we're going to move up the stem and then onto the handlebars. Moving up the stem, we come to the horn. Now, Kaabo are famous for having a very loud horn, so I'm going to press it now. Cover your ears. Oh my God. That is so loud, but very effective. What's the point of having a horn if it's not loud? Above the horn are the 2 front headlights. They're a very, very strong beam, lighting up everything in front of you. Them, coupled with the lights down below as well, the rear light and the side strips, make you very easy to be seen in the dark. Finally, we come to the top of the scooter and the handlebars. We've got these ergonomic grips, which you find on the other Wolf models. These have obviously got the gold rather than the red that you normally see on these. Coming in, we've got the brake calipers, which are the Zoom hydraulic disc brakes, as we've said before. When you pull the caliper, the light turns on at the back, the brake light, to let people know you're braking, but also it turns the motors off. So if you're holding the trigger and then apply the brakes, it doesn't keep powering on, it disconnects the motor, which is a really good safety feature. Also in the display, you can set the ABS, which is triggered when you're braking. So if you brake, you can set that to how strong you want it to, so the motors can aid you when you're braking. That moves us on nicely to the display, which has loads of functionality. It's the Mini Motors eye display. As we said, it's got the Mini Motors controllers as well, so they've used some of the best parts from Mini Motors to make this scooter really high performing. We've got the mode, which allows you to see voltage, trip, etc., odometer. Then you've got this little white button here. Going through that is modes 1, 2, and 3. So they're basically your speed limiters. Again, you can go into the P settings on this, which are the basically customizations that you can do. They can have soft start functions. We've talked about the ABS already. You can set your power levels, how much acceleration you're getting, that kind of thing. So really nice customization there. Moving across the handlebars to this side, and then down here as well, you can see we've got the 2 buttons, same as the Wolf Warrior. We've got Eco Turbo here, which is basically again like a speed limiter, and then single dual. That selects whether you're using the single motor or both motors at the same time. Top button here is the light. Press on, the lights come on, the headlights and the 2 front lights, rear light, not the side lights. They're controlled down below by a separate button, which is next to the 2 charge ports. Now those charge ports can be used together, one 4 amp fast charger and one 2 amp charger together can get that battery charged in around 5 to 6 hours. It's a really fast charge time. One charge with a normal charger, say a 2 amp charger, just using one, that will get you about 16, 17 hours, so quite a long time. So always worth using the 2. Anyway, coming back to this here. So we've got the light on this side and we've got the horn underneath. We've heard it already, we'll hear it one more time. Really loud, really annoying noise, but like we said earlier, it's got to be loud. That's the whole point of a horn. So that's a basic overview of the scooter. We've taken a good look, seen the brakes, the functionality, we've looked at the specs, we've looked at the battery specs, the motor specs, taken a look at what it's going to look like when we're riding and feel like. Now we're actually going to get out onto the track and see what we can do. We're going to go top speed run and we're going to take it off-road and really push it to the limits. So we're here today on the airstrip to test the top speed of the Wolf Warrior King. It's a 72 volt beast. We've heard it can go 60 mile an hour. Now we've only got 600 meters to test it over, so it may not get to top speed of 60 mile an hour, but we're going to do our best, see what we can do with a 73 kg rider. 1, go. Okay, so a little disappointed with the Wolf King. 73 kg rider with gear on, so probably 80 kg, over 600 meters, we got to 50 mile an hour. He did say it would still have pulled further if he'd had longer to go, so it's so annoying. We don't have more than 600 meters, but 50 mile an hour is still quick. We do think it will get to 60 though, because it was still pulling at that point. It just takes a long time. So we've taken a look at the Wolf King in the studio. We've gone over all the features. Now we're out in the trails. We're going to take it off-road and see what it can do. Compared to the Wolf Warrior 2, it's got 1500 watt motors, 2 of them rather than the 12s, so I'm sure we're going to see some really fast speeds. So just riding along in single motor mode now. Initial impressions are very comfortable. Comparing it, as I have to the Wolf Warrior 2, there's definitely a little bit more bite in these motors. I can feel it already, but
Other than that, it feels exactly the same. Might feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't know why. I'm sure it's the same frame and suspension and everything, but something about it feels slightly more comfortable. But there's definitely a bit more power. I'm only in single motor and I'm touching the throttle and it's accelerating fast. We're on fairly dry ground at the moment. It's not so wet. We'll see what happens when we get onto the wet, but it's handling the terrain very well. It feels smooth. I've got the off-road knobbly tyres on, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable even though the ground's pretty hard. So we've got the Wolf Warrior King, 1500 watt motors, 72 volt battery. We're going to do the acceleration test. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Whoa, speed is awesome. The acceleration is unreal. So fast. This is so quick. You have your finger down, it just gone. They're still on this uneven grass. The wheels are handling it well. I'm in dual motor. I could be in single, but it's not so wet and slippery that it's sliding out all the time. Pop back on. Yeah, you can really give it some on the dry ground. We're going up and down the hill here. Whoa! Back in. Okay, I've switched it into dual mode. We thought we'd tackle a bit of off-road terrain. It's very wet underneath the grass here. Grass is quite long, really bumpy, and very, very wet, but it's gripping really well. Back wheels just moving around a little bit, a slight bit of skid, but that tread's holding it on line. Just got to go with it on this type of terrain. Suspension's doing its job. Plenty of clearance under the board. It feels like the Wolf Warrior 2. Don't feel like you're going to bottom out on anything. Nice ride. Just ducking in and out here. Some really big potholes, rabbit holes under here, and it's riding over them easily. Tyres are big, 11x4s. Big dip there. And then we come out from the off-road, back onto the hard ground, and you feel its power. We're still hitting these off-roads. I've turned the ABS off now because I don't like the way it feels, but it does obviously aid the braking. But I feel like I'm in enough control with these zoom brakes, especially off-road where I'm not trying to hit the brakes hard. Now we're coming off onto the hard, loose ground, going uphill. Big steep section there. Pop back onto the off-road. Really handling it well, really well. Very comfortable. These are big bouncing divots here. Okay, so we're coming up to a really steep section here, very chalky, lots of debris. We're going to test these zoom hydraulics out. So the ground's pretty slippery underfoot. I've got the all-terrain tyres on, or the off-road tyres, that handled it with ease. We're still going down, no brake fade or anything like that here. So we've done the braking on the way down, we're now doing the acceleration on the way up. Ready? Bottom of the hill, flat out. Look at that bike, it's insane amount of torque. Look at that. Lots of loose debris underfoot, getting very skiddy. Off we go. Ducking off the hard ground, getting onto the little muddy loose trail. I'll lose my foot already. Little skid. Ooh. Oh, I'm getting close. Bumping down the roots. Much like the Wolf Warrior, feels very similar. Obviously, we know there's more power if we need it. Oh, it's sliding around. We're lucky we've got these off-road tyres on today. I don't think the slicks would handle this at all. Very nimble for a big scooter. We're going to see how well it goes up this hill, how manoeuvrable it is. This is a very tight, very wet. Yeah, go on, bite. Oh yes, all the way up in the wet. This King is so much fun. Whoa, so the main difference between the Wolf King and the Wolf Warrior 2, well, the only difference is controllers, 72 volt, 28 amp hour battery, and the 1500 watt motors. They both handle these trails as well. They feel very similar. The X feels smaller, definitely smaller. It's less able over this big terrain, but more nimble. But this, I stopped talking there. So this King, with its 1500 watt motors and its 72 volt battery, 28 amp hour, in theory has less amp hours than the Wolf Warrior, which is a 35 amp hour battery, 60 volt. But Kaabo claim that it can go further because it's more efficient when you're riding at lower speeds. So we can put that to the test. But it does make sense, having spoken to a few of the technicians about it, and they say that yes, that is totally possible. So because of the different battery sizes, motor sizes, the X feels nippy, solid and nippy. The Wolf Warrior 2 feels fast, very sturdy and fast. And the King is just in a league of its own. It just has raw power. We're just ripping around, coming back down the trail, sliding out. It's super slippery down here, making the most of it, but these zoom brakes are working really well. We can get right onto the edge and kick out the wheels. Here we go, back onto the main trail. Kick the tail out. So, I've been out for a couple of hours now on the King. I'm really enjoying it. The brakes feel good, the scooter feels solid, acceleration is awesome, really good. The only thing I can compare it to really is the bigger scooter, you know, the Storm or the Nami maybe. I love the Wolf Warrior, I love the Thunder, but this King takes it another notch up. Again, what I might change if I could really spec up myself, might put slightly better suspension in, but it's comfortable enough, it's handling it. The dual stem feels safe, the lighting's good. Finger throttle's not my favourite, I like a thumb throttle better, just because of control, but the eye throttle's pretty good as finger throttles go. The only thing is when you're in dual motor trying to go slow, it feels like it's trying to pull you away all the time, but then, you know, you could just go in single motor when you're going slowly along, and I guess that's what comes with the power. Whereas with the Nami, you can go at very slow speeds with the dual motor still on, but these are different, aren't they? The eye controller gives you that aggressive feel, and that's why people love to ride them. No, all in all, it's a great, great fun scooter. This thing is awesome. Kaabo have pulled it out with this one. The King is so powerful, so well balanced, so quick, great fun to ride. I feel sturdy when I'm on it. It is an awesome machine. If you want to come and have a go, come down to Ride and Glide, have a demo for yourself. If you like the video, like it there, subscribe to our channel. If you want more information, go to www.rideandglide.co.uk. Give us a call, give us a text, send us an email, send us a live chat. We're always available to talk through anything you need to talk about. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.